It's Wednesday. We get a return of somebody who I've missed. And so is Doug. But Doug's not here. So let's just get the pitter patter. Let's get at her. It's Dynamite. Here we go. On today's show, you get a cage match coming in all out, which is only a week away, by the way. Osprey gets attacked by Pac. MJF versus Garcia is signed for all out as well. But today, first off, we are starting with Bryan Danielson and his celebration. Bryan Danielson came on out with a celebration of the AEW World Title today and talked about a lot of things today. Talked about how much was some of the greatest moments he had was when he walked into the curtain and was congratulated by his peers and everybody. And it's great. It's amazing. He had a great match with Swerve, won the title, which I was wrong on, completely wrong. I totally thought he was going to lose. I really was going to step out, wait, retire. But he had the title on there. He's talking about it. And he says he has to go away soon, though, for a while, because he's apparently going to have neck surgery at some point. And he talked about how his family wants him home more. But he's also talked about as well how he doesn't have a contract currently, how it ended at the beginning of August. So, with all that being said, Jack Perry pops up on the screen. Jack Perry goes and starts listing all of Bryan's accomplishments, all the things that he did. Then he attacks him. It was a pre-taped interview, pre-taped promo. Attacks Bryan with a knee, takes Bryan Danielson out, and stands tall with the TNT title and the AEW title. Well, there's your first challenger by the looks of it. Now, I don't know, I'm sure this will happen at All Out by the sounds of it. But I don't see Jack Perry just all of a sudden winning the title. I mean, it's possible. It's entirely possible for this to happen. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I mean, I'd rather have Jack Perry take the title off. I mean, it makes sense to have Jack Perry take the title off Swerve then. But we're not. So Jack Perry versus Bryan Danielson is probably going to happen at All Out, which is only really a week away. So they're really starting to stack the card up really quickly. There could be some good things that comes in, bad things that, but we will get to a lot of good things that are about that. So Jack Perry attacks Danielson, stands tall at the end of the show. Chorus of boos. Bobby aren't very happy about this, and that's okay. You don't have to be happy about it. It's Jack Perry. Kind of annoying, but he's definitely better than that Jungle Boy thing he did. I mean, 100% better than Jungle Boy stuff. The Jungle Boy stuff to me was just, after a while, just got really strange. No, just got really, truly strange. Speaking of Swerve and Hangman are going to have a cage match at All Out. How did we get to this, you ask? Well, it showed some highlights from the Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson match at All Out, at All In. Hangman Page came and interrupted that match. Didn't get too far in it, but interrupted the match, causing Bryan hit the Bushido knee and knocking out Swerve, causing for 1, 2, 3. Basically causing him the title to fail. So, Hangman, the first match tonight was Hangman versus Tomohiro Ishii. And it was just a big old slobber knocker. Just beat the hell out of each other. But just the first few minutes, just punched each other back and forth, just going at it. And like I said, as JR said, just a big old slobber knocker. Right? At one point, Tomohiro Ishii took him off of a superplex off the top rope. Hangman got planted nicely. Hangman returned the favor, though, later on in the match, when he was outside the apron with Tomohiro Ishii, and DDT'd him onto it, where Tomohiro Ishii just basically just landed head first and just stuck straight up for a few seconds. Stunned the hell out of him. Eventually, Hangman ended up winning this match after a long-fought battle with 2 commercial breaks. Ends up beating with his finisher, as he always does. But then Swerve comes out. And Swerve is just not thrilled by any of this. He's absolutely pissed. And he starts to go off on him. But he doesn't go off in the way you think he does. He doesn't start attacking him, fighting him. He just goes out there and says, I want to slap the hell out of you right now. But I'm not going to. And he goes, I feel sorry for you because the entire time you are just obsessed with me. Because the things that I've done. And Hangman really has nothing to say about it, really. Right? Says they feel sorry for Hangman. Right? He's just basically a shell of what he was. He says to Hangman says he's sort of just a piece of crap for what, especially for what he did to his by coming to his house with his children there. So after that, Swerve just says, you need help. Right? Right? So Hangman says, you need help, Kay. You can't beat me. You can't beat me, Swerve. Every time you had wrestled me 3 times. One, it was 30 minutes draw. You couldn't come up that one on it. Right? The other 2 times, Nana helped you. Swerve's response was, you don't want anybody to come in? You don't want anything of that? Cage match. All out. Me and you. That's going to be bloody brutal. If you go over the last number of matches they've had, they've been brutal matches, matches of the night, matches of the year contenders. I think Hangman's going to win this one, though. But I don't know. I don't know yet. It's a possibility. Good possibility it's going to happen, but I don't know yet. Swerve vs. Hangman 4 is going to be probably brutal as hell. Very probably similar to one of the ones they've already had. Swerve brought back Hangman to after Revolution. Basically accused Hangman of letting himself give up just to spite Swerve because he didn't want the title. Swerve got the title. Swerve said, he goes, they went back, he drove that night down 10 minutes down the road to where Hangman lived. He didn't get out of his car, didn't go to his door, just went in there and sat outside the car and watched him as he helped his pregnant wife downstairs to do birth to their second son. And that just ticked off Hangman. Hangman didn't respond. Swerve goes, what kind of man am I going to get? Do I get this shell of a man or the man who took me to limits, all those things? Who knows who we're going to get? But Hangman, instead of even saying anything else to Swerve, that walked off, went out of the ring and walked off. Swerve did say, though, before all that it'll always be his house and he'll always be a world champion, no matter what. So, Swerve versus Hangman at All Out for probably just bragging rights and for revenge. Great. It's going to be a hell of a good match. It's going to be fun times. Later on in that, let's get to Will Osprey, though. Will Osprey obviously won the international title back at All In over MJF. We'll get to MJF in a bit. Now, how this happened? The Osprey comes out. But first, before that, though, we had Ricochet's debut. Ricochet had his debut match on Dynamite against Kyle Fletcher. And I'll tell you right now, it was a hell of a match. Right? Basically showing what Ricochet really can do. That he might have been kind of pigeonholed in WWE a little bit. I mean, that's kind of nonsense, though. Just due to the fact that he did a hell of a lot in NXT when he was there. But more probably talking more about the main roster. At one point, they're on the outside. Kyle Fletcher and him are on the outside. Ricochet jumps, hits Kyle Fletcher with 2 knees from the outside, rolls over and does the whole suck it thing. Basically, kind of like shocked. Kind of. Maybe it depends on how you want to look at it. was kind of a shot. It really was. Kind of a shot. Right? He goes back and forth, a lot of high flying, show what kind of skill conflict it really truly does have here in AEW. That he's at times I find a little should be have a little bit more than what he's doing, but he's a hell. He's part of the Callis family right now. He eventually probably will leave that. After the match is over, after the match is over, Ricochet wins, by the way, which was never not going to happen. He wins with this reverse lifted DDT he calls Vertigo. Kind of interesting move, pretty cool actually. I wish he kind of would have been doing this in WWE. He might have done it a couple times, but it never really kind of phased into what it was. So after the match, though, Will Osprey comes out. And he's standing there face to face with Ricochet. The match that all everyone wants to see again. Everyone wants to see the first time in AEW. Before even Osprey has a chance to say a thing, Pac comes out and puts on his ass and says, Mr. Osprey, don't you dare forget about the bastard. They stood up, looked right at Ricochet. Ricochet, welcome to AEW. Now get in the back of the line. Pac then returns his attention right back to Osprey and says, don't forget, he's mine. But I looked at Ricochet when he said it right to Osprey. You're mine. And walked off. We're getting Pac versus Osprey at All Out. It's gonna be a fun match. For a guy I've seen Pac live, he's a lot of fun live. He's really good. I'm a big fan of Pac. So I'm looking. It's gonna be a hell match of the night. It really will be. Speaking of Osprey's opponent, though, that we talked earlier about, MJF. MJF came out and cut a massive promo, right, towards everybody, basically saying how everybody in the U.S. betrayed him, that nobody supported him against Will Osprey or the American title. Nobody supported him. And he denounced his citizenship live on TV. Said the only place that's worthwhile is like Long Island, New York. Well, that's your opinion now, isn't it? There's a lot of people who live in Long Island. They love Long Island. I've driven through it. Yeah, it's Long Island. It's nice. It's Long Island. But that being said, MJF said that the only way Will Osprey won was because he was distracted by Daniel Garcia, the returning Daniel Garcia, who he thought he put his career. And he basically was about to threaten Daniel Garcia until Daniel Garcia showed up and attacked MJF. Started beating the living hell out of MJF, took him all over the place, nearly power drived him. Then said, hey, that's a great idea. I'll power drive him off the ropes like he did to me. He didn't get a chance to do that. MJF fought back. They fought back and forth again. Yeah, hitting back and forth. Eventually, Garcia gets on the mic and says, how do you think I feel right now? Right? The best moment of my life, I got carried on a stretcher in front of my parents, my mother. And he just sat there, kind of just laughed. You know, was just furious at him. Garcia announced that he talked to Tony Khan, and then All Out, it will be him versus MJF at All Out. MJF is pretty fond of this. He's happy to do it. Probably going to end his career or try to end his career. Look, MJF versus Garcia, this match was going to happen no matter what. It was a good match. It was an excellent match, actually. A lot of fun with it. So I'm expecting Garcia to probably win this in some way, shape, or form. But it's a good possibility I'm just probably going to win this match. I don't know how. Because Daniel Garcia, MJF in his promo mentioned that he lost his title. He lost his AEW Diamond Ring. But found out where the Diamond Ring was, though. Daniel Garcia stole the ring and hawked it in Buffalo for a flight to London just to attack him, just to screw him over. Good for Daniel Garcia. Good for him. So we'll see what goes on with that. Let's see. We did have two women's title celebrations, though. on this episode of Aew Dynamite. And to be honest with you, one was very interesting. The other one, I still don't understand. I don't understand the hype about her anymore, or what she was, because I feel like we've mentioned this before on the show, as well as between me and Doug. We had 2 celebrations with the TBS title, as well as Mariah May. The TBS title was the first one that they celebrated too. The best part about it was when Okada came. The Mercedes Monets with Camille in the back, they're celebrating. She's taking CEO. And then Private Party show up out of nowhere. I haven't seen them in months. They're probably, I think they're probably on Rampage. I barely ever see them. So they come out and they congratulate her. One guy of them guys tries to hit on her. Says, "Oh, I know you're single now. You better be great on me." Okada comes in and he says, "Just calm down, go away." Mercedes basically just says, "How do you say scram or scram biatch in Japanese?" Okada tells her. And she says, "Sayonara, bitch. Let's go back to my party." Those guys leave. They start celebrating. Okada was probably the best part of the whole thing. Mariah May, on the other hand, was a lot more exciting. She comes out in a covered black robe. People were wondering, oh, she's probably naked. I know I sure as hell did. Mariah May comes out and talks about there won't be any celebration in Champaign, Illinois, because Champaign, Illinois, just like the name of Champaign, Illinois, is more like warm piss beer. I mean, it's a college town, from what I understand. Kind of makes sense. It's a college town. There's a lot of beer going on there. Probably piss warm, most likely. So, Mariah May comes out, so she's not gonna, but what she does do is she's not gonna have any celebration because she doesn't want to do it there. But she takes off her robe to reveal that she's wearing a very nice singlet with the towel around her waist. It says, "Okay, that's enough." So she ends up leaving, going to the back there. Another match of the night we had was the Chris Jericho segment. The Luring Tree. Luring Tree. It was the Luring Tree and Roderick Strong versus the Conglomerate and Hook, who obviously won his FT title back from Chris Jericho. Chris didn't want to have revenge. They have a match. But look, it was a fun match. The most interesting part of the match, though, was Hook won and choked out Roderick Strong. But that's when it got interesting. At the end of the match, Roderick Strong, while the Undisputed Kingdom, attacked Hook and beat the living brakes off him. Beat the brakes off him, and is held high. Roderick Strong is held high after that with the FTW title in his hand. So we got a challenger for a Hook now. It's going to be Roderick Strong. Still waiting to see what they're doing with Undisputed Kingdom now. That I think obviously goes around with Cole whenever Cole gets back. Hopefully he does come back very soon. But yeah, we're gonna say we're getting Roderick Strong versus Hook for that FTW title. Look, Hook's probably gonna lose it again at some point. I don't know if it's gonna be Roderick Strong. We're gonna find out. But eventually we'll see what goes on there. Look, the FTW title, I said it on All In Review. Hook doesn't need the FTW title. Right? Give the Strong. Let Strong do something with it. Let Hook go off, do something else. Let him go for the TNT title or Continental title or whatever. Let him go do something else. He doesn't need it. Give it to Strong. Maybe Strong can elevate it more than what it was. Because Jericho didn't really elevate it at all, too, because it's not a title that's really recognized. So, recognized by Taz. But I said we got a return. And a promo from a new person. New people. Here's a promo first. The Grizzly Young Veterans cut a promo. They just show one. So they actually showed 2 promos for them. Promos from after All In, when the Young Bucks confronted them. Told that basically they're on notice. They put everybody on notice. The FTR, the Acclaimed, the Bucks, all on notice. And if you see the GYV are coming, Grit your teeth. So, like I said, Grizzly Adventures are in AEW now. Thank God. The Grizzly Adventures do so because they were great in WWE in the UK scene and good at NXT until they had a giant change of character for whoever decided that was absolutely hopefully got fired for that. They're a great tag team. So Zach Gibson, number one, Liverpool's number one. So, but I said return. Jon Moxley's back, everybody. Jon Moxley. He is back. But it's not the typical Jon Moxley you think you see. He didn't come out with BCC. He didn't do any of those things. He comes out at the beginning of the show to open the show. To new music, too. Comes in. I do music by the sound of it, to be honest. It could have just been the acoustics. Comes in. Tony Schiavone comes down to ringside because he has to do that. And says, John, where have you been? How's things? John goes, we had a conversation with somebody. And calls out Darby Allin. I don't know why. Darby Allin was not in the building that night, so Darby Allin did not come down. He says, I'm going to find you. We're going to talk. I'm not hard to find. Then looks at Tony Schiavone and says, you think this company is yours? It's not yours anymore. Don't know what that means at all, but I feel it's like kind of a new faction. I think they're moving John away from the BCC. Because later in the evening, John's walking in the back and he passes like these two, I guess maybe security guards, probably just choppers. And he says he wants to have a conversation with one of them. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Marina Shafir attacks the jobbers and beats them all up. And walks off with John. So it seems like we have either a new BCC or a different type of group forming. I don't know what it is yet. It is brand new. But it was nice to see John back. Thank God for that. I wonder where John was. But he looks good, though. Cleanly shaven head, which I probably got to do soon. Right? Looks like he's lost a little bit of weight, too. But he's well rested as well. So, welcome back, John. Thank God you're back. We'll see what happens to you. We will find out what happens. We also got on the card Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander at All Out in a Chicago street fight. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Look, if we don't put Statlander over in this, then I don't know what the hell's wrong with you. So it just defeats the purpose of doing the heel turn to me. Just turn heel for what purpose? You know? What anything else we have on the show here? What else do we have on the show, folks? You know what? I think that basically does covers it all. Yeah. That covers it. Oh, I know it doesn't. Forgot. Almost forgot. Jamie Hayter made her Aew Dynamite re-debut. Return. Went against Harley Cameron. Kind of a squash match. She like no-selled Harley Cameron's finisher. And stared down Saraya. So it looks like Jade here eventually will face Saraya. I don't know if it's going to be an all out. I'm sure it'll be soon. But Saraya also has been used a lot lately, especially since Ruby Riott did get pregnant and had her baby very soon, or has had her baby. So we'll see what happens with that. She'll be honestly gone for the next year or so. So, who knows? She might not even be together. So that cast might even be a thing in it. So who knows what's going on with Saraya, what they're really going to do there. But Jamie Hayter is obviously be her first feud. Jamie Hayter is probably going to win the feud. And hopefully they'll probably move Jamie Hayter back into that women's title division. So we'll be interested to see what happens with that. Other than that, guys, that was AEW Dynamite. It was a good show. Right? It was really kind of just showing the aftermath of what happened in All In. So it wasn't anything really crazy. Nothing really developed. We did get matches though for All Out because All Out is literally on September 7th. A week a bit away. So I'm trying to fill that card up quickly. Like I said, we're getting the cage match with Swerve versus Hangman. We're getting Osprey versus Pac for the international title. Okay, MJF versus Garcia. We're getting Willow Nightingale versus Statlander in a Chicago street fight. And we're probably gonna get Brian Danielson versus Jack Perry. Probably might get the tag title match, maybe the Young Bucks or FTR versus Grizzly Young Veterans. So I mean, at least get some kind of stuff there. So I'm interested to see what happens at All Out, how the card's gonna build, because they only have one more week to build. So next week will be the go home show for that, and we'll let you guys know what goes on with that, what kind of matches are going on for the show. All right, guys, it's great to have Jon Moxley back. Great to have the Grizzly Young Veterans in AEW Dynamite. It's nice to see Ricochet being Ricochet again. Instead of, doing silly, getting things, putting stuff that makes no sense. But that was AEW Dynamite. I am Andrew Purcell. As always, Doug is new with me again, as always on Wednesdays. All right, make sure you like, share, and subscribe down below here. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, TikTok, all DA Sports, DA Wrestling. On Instagram, DA Wrestling. Myself on there on Instagram at AM Purcell, AM Purcell, DA Wrestling. Doug Lyons at D Lyons 1991. Make sure you guys have yourself a good old night. Stay tuned. That was Dynamite. See you guys for SmackDown with Doug. Hopefully, you never know where he might be. Have yourself a good night, everybody. Peace out.